Now we are going to discuss the metacognition and script theory. Metacognition refers to higher order thinking which involves active control over the cognitive processes engaged in learning. When we say higher order thinking, we are referring to not only thinking, but also thinking about thinking. How can we do that? That means approaching a given learning task, monitoring comprehension, and evaluating progress towards the completion of a task are metacognitive in nature. So when you are thinking, you're not just thinking one thing, it is thinking about thinking, which involves, for example, if you are reading a book, you might be thinking about the author at the same time, about your understanding of the theme of that book, about the characters, about what needs to be, or prediction about what needs to happen again. So basically, when you approach a task, it's not just that you're thinking about a task, it's about so many other levels that need to be taken care of in terms of learning, monitoring, and evaluating. So metacognitive refers to, or metacognition refers to higher order of thinking. John Flavel, an American developmental psychologist, believes that metacognition consists of metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive experiences or regulation. What do we mean by metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive experiences or regulation? Let's discuss that. As you can see in the image, the metacognitive knowledge has personal resources and task requirements. So in personal resources, we are referring to the prior knowledge that is there before you are to perform a certain task, and the available strategies that you have. So you have the awareness of the prior knowledge and the available strategies to carry out that task. Then the task requirement, your understanding of the type of learning which is needed to carry out that particular task, and the appropriate strategies which should enable to accomplish that task. So metacognitive knowledge has these two components, or these two factors, crucial in terms of developing the understanding. Then we have metacognitive regulation. It has plan, evaluate, monitor. You have the goals, beliefs, attitudes, and motivation. All these are surrounded by planning, evaluating, and monitoring. Let's discuss what we mean by planning. Planning involves the selection of appropriate strategies and allocation of resources and the time management. For example, making prediction before reading, strategizing, asking for the input in terms of making a sequence for strategies, allocating time or attention. Now coming to monitoring, monitoring refers to parallel awareness of comprehension and task performance. Basically, it is the ability to engage in periodic self-testing while learning is a good example. Studies show that monitoring ability improves with training and practice. Then you have evaluating or evaluation. This refers to appraising the outcome or the product and regulating the processes of one's learning. Typical example includes re-evaluating one's goals and conclusion. According to Baker, number of studies indicate that metacognitive knowledge and regulatory skills such as planning are related to evaluation. So in terms of planning and monitoring, you need to have the evaluation that what needs to be planned and how it needs to be monitored. Now coming to the script theory. Roger Schenck and Robert P. Abelson introduced this theory. According to Schenck, script theory proposed that events are understood in terms of scripts, plans, and other knowledge structures as well as relevant previous experiences. So script theory basically looks into the learning in terms of a script, that everything that takes place has or is presented in the form of a scene or a script. He proposed conceptual dependency, CD, which is basically a collection of symbols which are used to represent knowledge. So CD is the collection of the symbols, and those symbols are used in a script to explain certain event or a certain scene. As you can see that on your left side, you have the list of the symbols used or proposed by Schenck and Abelson to discuss or explain the scenes. Now, as you say, attrans, patrans, propel, move, ingest, expel, matrans, embed, speak, attend. Now, against each symbol, you have the explanation. Now, they are used to define a particular scene. For example, a particular event, let's say entering. Now, this particular information or this particular example is about a restaurant. So, the scene 1 is entering. Entering and then patrons. That means self into restaurant. Attend, eyes to empty table. Embed, place to sit. Patron, self to table, move, sit down. So basically you allocate certain symbols to explain a particular event. Then the scene 2 is about ordering. Then the scene 3 is about eating and exiting, and how those events are presented. They are presented with the help of all these symbols which are proposed by Schenck in the conceptual dependency. Schenck developed the conceptual dependency model to present knowledge for natural language input into computers. So this particular type of information is given to computers, or it is developed for computers. Different varieties of computer programs developed to demonstrate the script theory. So we have seen number of programs, computer programs, that have been developed to present or demonstrate the script theory. Script allows individuals to make inferences needed for understanding by filling in missing information, that is schema. To conclude, the metacognition theory refers to thinking about thinking and consists of metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive experiences. And the script theory proposed that human behavior can be seen in the form of script, that is, all memory is episodic, organized around personal experience rather than semantic categories.